One of the greatest things that we can do as artists is to create a feeling of depth on a thin sheet of paper. It's almost a bit of magic when we can really create that feeling of distance. And today, I have 3 keys to help you do this. So whether you are just getting started or whether you've been painting for a while, I'm confident that these tips can really help push your work forward and allow you to create a real sense of depth within your paintings. Today, I'm going to be walking you through this landscape painting. I'm going to give you an overview of my process, but I'm going to give you my keys to creating depth as we work our way through this scene. Here is a look at the photograph that I'm using today. Scenes like this are challenging, mainly because the background of the scene, these mountains back here, have so much visual interest to them. The real challenge in painting scenes like this is how to feature them in your painting, but not paint them in a way where it detracts from other parts of your painting. So we want to minimize what's going on here in order to enhance our feeling of depth within the scene. Now, the first thing that I do when I paint scenes like this is I lay in all the light values in the scene. So that means the sky, the light values on the mountains, and the light values on the ground. So after I wet the front and the back of my paper, now I'm going to start with the clouds. We're negatively painting around the clouds, which means I'm painting the dark blue of the sky around the clouds to define them. So I'm trying to create an interesting shape with these clouds. I'm leaving some hard edge, some soft edge, and I want to show the clouds in the scene, but also not make them so busy that they just kind of take over the painting as well. So I'm finishing up the clouds. Now I want to lay in the light values of the mountains. And I'm trying to not add too much saturation in the background. And I'll explain the reason why in just a minute. So I'm laying in the light greens of the mountains. And now I get down to where the landscape is. And I'm laying in some yellows to show some of the flowers and things there on the ground. And after all that, this is what the first wash looks like. And I want to talk to you about our number 1 key for creating depth, and that is using color to create depth. So you'll notice that I paint these mountains in kind of a dull way with not a lot of saturation. Then I introduced a little bit of green on the mountains, but I want you to notice the difference in green I'm using here versus here. These greens are a lot warmer, and I've added some saturation, some more color into these greens. And by carefully paying attention to the background and not introducing too much color and saving that saturation for this area that's closer to us, I'm already starting to create depth within my painting. So remember that cooler colors push things back, warmer colors bring them forward. So when you're painting your landscapes, keep that in mind. So after my paper has dried, now I'm ready to move into the middle values and the darks of this scene. Start over here on the left, and I want you to see how I'm painting these trees. So I'm grouping them together, trying to see them as one large connected shape. Because if we go back to the reference photo here, we can see just how much information is in this scene. And if we look closely, we start to see individual trees and rocks and so much variety in texture. That's really a trap, because if we include all that detail in the distant background hill, suddenly the background is competing with the middle ground and foreground. And that leads me to point number 2, minimize the background. We have these gorgeous mountains in the background, and of course, we want to really look closely and we want to paint them just as we see them in this photograph. But if we can minimize that information, then we can create a better feeling of depth. So now I'm moving into these trees in the middle ground that are closer up, and I have one bigger tree here that's closer than those, and I'm seeing those as a connected shape. Now, it's important that those have stronger value than the hills behind it. When I say value, I'm talking about how much paint, how rich is the mixture of paint that I'm using. I want this to be stronger than that. If those are equal, then all of a sudden we lose our feeling of depth. Those background hills or mountains are going to feel right on the same level as those trees. So pay attention to that as well. You want less contrast in the background of your painting. So now I'm painting into here, working on this tree and those closer up trees, dropping in the darks, and the painting is starting to come together. And I needed a little bit more information on some of these trees at the foot of the mountain there. And there's this shrub or small tree here that needed some information. Now, things are looking pretty good. I know I need some more value in the foreground, but what else I need is texture. And that brings me to key number 3. Be strategic in how you use texture. More texture brings an area closer. Lack of texture will push it further back. So while I was very minimal in my approach to the mountains here and really try to keep them simple, I'm going to need more texture here in the foreground and middle ground to help that part feel closer to us. I put a wash in the foreground, and now I'm careful because I want to leave some behind from the wash that I did in the very beginning. So some of those yellows that I used there, I'm going to leave some of those behind and kind of paint around a little bit. And you'll notice how I'm using my brush here. I'm pushing down on the paper, and you can already see that that texture in the foreground, it's really starting to help that area feel closer to us. And I added some details with my rigger brush, a little bit more texture, and there is a look at the final painting. So the next time you're trying to create depth within your painting, remember these 3 keys. Use color to create depth. More saturation, more warmth brings an area forward. Cooler colors recede more into the distance. Number 2, include less information in the background. Simplify your background. The more you can do that, the more you will create a feeling of depth. And number 3, use texture to create depth. More texture brings an area forward, and less texture lets it sit further back into the painting. I hope that these tips were helpful for you today. If you'd like to know more about the way that I paint, take a look at this resource. Have you ever been really excited about a painting and you get all set up, you find that right reference that you're excited about, and then it's time to go and you feel lost? I have a free resource that I want to give to you today that can help with these problems. My 5 steps to plan a successful watercolor painting. I walk you through the crucial planning phase of your painting that will help you understand what you're going to paint first, second, and third. The planning is really so important, especially in watercolor. This medium is harder to correct. It's so immediate. So having that plan is very important. I send you a PDF that you can download. And the great thing about this is you can have it on your phone. You could print it out. You can download this right now before you start your next painting. All you have to do is follow this link here and download my 5-step guide to planning a successful watercolor painting.